Welcome on in. It's your boy G Bush in the building. Let me sit up tall and get myself together. Let's get it going in, man. Appreciate everybody checking into the barbershop. We're here every single Monday and now Thursday from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. Your boy G Bush rocking and rolling. Good to be good to be back with you guys, man. Had the bye week. We learned, I hope you guys had an opportunity to check out some of the games, some of the AFC North stuff that's been going on. It looks like the AFC North is going to be one of the toughest divisions. You look at, Baltimore Raven collapsing down the backstretch against the Steelers. That was a crazy game. Take a look at the Bengals. It looks like Joe Burrow's back up, ready to go, ready to move. They looked a lot better. Jamar Chase had a crazy game. So, what we're doing now is just, the Browns got off to a 2-2 start. They get the bye kind of early. And one of the things that I was doing is I was setting up to say, okay, we got Deshaun Watson. It came better at a time because usually you want to buy later. And guess what? Deshaun Watson gets dinged up a little bit. You're like, okay, listen, you get over the whole situation with DTR in the playbook and the way things were going. And you feel like, look, hey, it was an uphill battle against the Ravens. Let's go back to the drawing board, get everything scheduled and fixed up and do some things to make some adjustments. And, I'm on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. And the first thing I get is Deshaun Watson's not practicing today. And that threw me for kind of a loop. And if you know me, I said this a couple of weeks ago. Right here on the UCSS when I was doing a barbershop. And I said, look, man, I'm a little concerned about it. I'm always concerned. I come from a specific background where I've had a lot of injuries. I've had a ton of injuries in my career. 17, 18 surgeries. I've had nerve damage places, back, neck, knees. I've had a bone taken out of my calf. I've had a pin inserted into my big toe. I haven't even counted like dislocated fingers and all that other good stuff. But I say that to say this. There's a couple of things that are really that really are alarming when it comes to the Deshaun Watson thing. Don't get it twisted. I am still the leader of the Kool-Aid Mafia. And by the way, we'll give you an opportunity to win a cute Kool-Aid Mafia shirt coming up here in about 15, 20 minutes. So keep it locked if you haven't been locked in. But there's one or two things that really scare me, and I'm going to break those down for you. You let me know. Get those comments ready to go right now. Chat is already available. We got about 32 comments already in the chat. Are you, first and foremost, a little concerned about Deshaun Watson? He's had about 2 weeks off, was not able to play last week, comes out today. And the statement by Kevin Stefanski wasn't really really wasn't assuring. But get your comments in the chat, and I want to read some of those off at the end of this segment. Are you scared and worried a little bit about Deshaun Watson's shoulder? And if you are, why or why not? I like to have the why or why not with it. Go ahead and support your thesis. Obviously, we'll get your questions and answer that from the chat. Coming up on today's show, we will also talk about I'm still a person that believes we got to make a trade. And I've kind of evolved on this a little bit. I went for the running back position a couple of weeks ago because of Dick Chubb. And even during the beginning of the season, I was still talking about, hey, DeAndre Hopkins, Jerry Jeudy, do you make a deal? Now I feel like the area of opportunity is up front. And we'll kind of talk about that coming up here a little bit as well. Jedrick Wills, I went back and I took some time to look at the all 22 from the last, I would say the last 4 games. And I've come up with some alarming stats and numbers. And I'll throw a couple of names out to you guys that I've been hearing around and about. It doesn't have to be concrete. There's stuff on the internet is so hard to prove and disprove now. That's why I don't like breaking news. I don't like breaking news and doing none of that because nowadays there's so many different counterfeits. You can't even tell who got a blue check mark, who don't, what's real and what's not. I try to stay away from that. I try to just give you my opinion on stuff as I see it. So I do a lot of watching film in all 22. So we'll take a look at that. Do the Cleveland Browns need to make a trade? And if so, you know where you can put that at. Put that in the comments. Super Chat is available as well. And if you want to get a membership, you can get a membership on UCSS as well, and get that overtime content for the UCSS. Can the Browns beat the 49ers? And that's kind of a rhetorical question. I think anybody can beat anybody in the NFL. There's only games are separated by a couple of points. What I mean, can the Browns beat the 49ers is what ways can the Cleveland Browns beat the 49ers? Because I think it's a very slim path for them beating the 49ers. 5-0 right now, one of the best teams. I know if you saw it, are you impressed with the way they played against the Cowboys? I thought their defense looked fast. I thought they looked really good. I think you know the 49ers are one of the most diverse running attacks in all of football, and Kyle Shanahan just consistently gets these quarterbacks to play well. Brock Purdy is putting them all on money. He's playing with anticipation. So for me, I think there's a very small way, and it's a specific style of game that the Browns have to play in order to be able to beat the 49ers. We'll talk about that a little bit coming up. And don't forget, if you haven't seen it, we'll be doing our deep dive breakdown into the San Francisco 49ers and Cleveland Browns. We'll do more matchups. We'll also have our injury reports ready. It looks like Deshaun Watson, by that time, we should know more about it. And also, we should be able to break down some of the things that I think they'd be successful with. So don't forget, do not miss the barbershop preview show. We'll talk about this matchup week 6 with the 49ers. Don't want to miss it. That'll be Thursday at 3 o'clock. Let's get into this Watson shoulder injury thing. For me, I think Deshaun Watson, I said it was alarming before, and let me give you why I think it's a little bit more alarming. Usually, generally speaking, when you want to get into a week like this, one of the things I thought the Cleveland Browns had an advantage of winning this football game was the simple fact that the Giants, or excuse me, I keep calling them the Giants, but the Cowboys and the 49ers were going to be playing on Sunday night. And so you hope for a game where it's a hard-fought game. Maybe they beat each other up a little bit. Maybe it's something where you come into a game and you may have a little bit of an advantage because you've got the day of preparation on them. You also have the fresh legs coming off the bye. And I think it's alarming a little bit because Mondays you're not doing nothing crazy anyway. You're not doing nothing you're not going up top on nobody. You're not doing a bunch of throwing. It's basically an install day where you're watching the tape, getting in there, getting stretched out, and just starting to put the foundation to a playbook game, the foundation to what the game plan is going to be against the 49ers. And so for me, I would want Deshaun Watson to be out there ready to go, getting back up, because there is a little bit of rust. He played very well against the Tennessee Titans. And what I would want to do is get any semblance of that type of rhythm back. Seeing the feel good, quick reads, talking to him about what he likes to see, what plays he feels good in, comfortable based upon what the 49ers they think they're going to give him. This is a great opportunity to put that in, right? To get them back comfortable. And so when you come out and you don't practice on the Monday, that puts me in a space where like, okay, that's a work day. That's an install day. They may give them Tuesday off, get back to it on Wednesday, right? Generally speaking, giving them Tuesday off, get back on Wednesday. If we get to a point where we back on that Wednesday and he's not participating, this thing is trending in the wrong direction. And what I mean by this, I'm not a doctor, but I did talk to a doctor in UCSS, and they talked about what it is and how you go about starting to rehab that thing and getting it comfortable. I got shoulder issues right now, but it's not shoulder issues based upon like any sort of bruise, any sort of contusion, any sort of hits, structural damage, none of that. I got shoulder problems because of nerve damage in my neck. And one of the things that I always consistently talk about is every injury is different. Every injury is different. Everybody recovers at a different rate. Even when Baker Mayfield was playing, when he was here in 2021, it was his opposite shoulder, right? But it affected his accuracy. It affected his willingness to step up in the pocket. It affected his will. It affected how he rolled to certain sides of the field. It affected whether the ball and your trajectory is sailing on the football. Can you drive the football in the wind? And let's not even talk about the fact that the weather's changing. Now you're going to take more time to heat and warm that thing up. And it's going to take a lot of time and energy to make sure it stays loose in between quarters, in between TV timeouts. And on top of it, the biggest thing is you're struggling up front already. I went back and it's not just Jed Wills who's struggling. It's Joe Bitonio that's struggling. Ethan Poach is just struggling. Wyatt Teller is struggling. To be truthful, the best guy and he's not playing well in the run game, but the best pass blocker you got right now is DeJuan Jones, and he's a rookie. So now think about all of the things that I talked about, compounded with the fact that you got a leaky offensive line. You got to keep more guys in, like the running backs, as well as the tight ends. As I was going and looking through the film work, all 22, there's multiple times where there's pressure still getting home up front when you're already getting a chip from the running backs, and you're getting another chip from the tight ends on the other side. So that's 6 against 4. And you're still giving up inside pressures. You're still giving up quick pressures on the run game. So you mix all of those things together, mixed with the fact that Deshaun Watson has only had one really solid game where we can see some semblances of it, him being the guy who we thought he was. And you compound that with a leaky O-line, weather is going to be getting more and more progressively worse to push the ball down the field, and they want to be a run team, trust me, or excuse me, pass team. They put all their eggs in the basket of the pass game. So now you're going to be playing against a team in the 49ers that are going to put Warner putting pressure on you. Greenwood putting pressure on you. We already know what Bosa is up to. We already know what Eric Armstead is up to. We get all of that. So my thing is that leads to, how you want to get to how did the Cleveland Browns beat the 49ers? When even if Deshaun Watson does play, I believe that they got to play a specific style of football. And I also believe that there's something to be said about the playbook. And we talked about that. We'll get into that as well. Let's get into some of your comments here, because I really do believe that Watson's shoulder will be a thing the rest of the year. And it's not just this game. It's something that you're going to have to look at over and over and over and over again, because it's not going to heal, and he hasn't yet to take another hit. So we got to be looking at this for the rest of the year. And it's not saying that the Cleveland Browns can't win any football games this way, but the coaching staff and the way Kevin Stefanski calls these plays, he has to give Deshaun Watson a shot. I know we say it all the time. The bottom line, it's on the quarterback. Bottom line, if Deshaun Watson is who he is in Houston, by the way, football don't work that way. When I'm watching these other teams like the Philadelphia Eagles, when I watch the 49ers, when I'm watching the Kansas City Chiefs, when I'm watching the Dolphins, I'm watching teams put together things and have complementary footballs, not just on one person. And if you think you're going to play hero ball at quarterback, the Browns don't have a roster good enough to play hero ball. They need to have a run game. They need to get something out of the return game. They need to be lights out defensively, and they got to have a game plan week to week that gives yourself an opportunity to play good ball and not turn the ball over, not be loosey-goosey, and stop running reverses with Elijah Moore calling out a new playbook. It's not. 130 comments in here. We'll get to your comments. Also, 383 people here get ready for the San Francisco 49ers week. Hit that like button for me. If you hit the like button, it gives me an opportunity to get this content out to people, and it continues to show Tegna, hey, there's something to be said. We like diversity. We love G. Bush in the barbershop, and we want to get some more deep dives into the style and format that he puts out. So hit that like button for me. Make sure you subscribe to the UCSS. All right. Let's keep it pushing. Let's get to some of the comments. Oh my goodness, he comes up. Let me see. JoJo Boy, the first in the chat. Lost your faith already. Kool-Aid sour. No. Listen, JoJo, the Kool-Aid ain't sour. Like, what you talking about? We just talking about how you get better. You got to think sometimes it ain't all about drinking the Kool-Aid, bro. Sometimes you got to make the Kool-Aid. See what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to put some work into putting that Kool-Aid together, right? It's levels to it, bro. You can't make Kool-Aid without no sugar. And right now, we got to figure out where we get some sugar from, which is that's some nice, sweet, easy plays to get it going. Brant says Andrew should be on the hot seat next year. Not this, and Kevin should go. He's not horrible. He's not good. He's meh. I think that's the thing with Kevin Stefanski, and we'll kind of talk about the ways that they got to go into this next game if they want to beat the 49ers. Hey, listen, just put it in the chat. You let me know if I'm crazy out here. Let me know if I'm losing my mind. Because for me, when I look at Kevin Stefanski, I specifically go watch other teams, right? I go watch how Sean McVay just resurrects Matt Stafford and Puka Nacua comes out of somewhere and just starts slinging the ball. Then they bring a guy like a Cooper Kupp off the IR, and he's open. I watch how the Detroit Lions are out here running the football, putting massive points on people, showing what a tight end looks like when he can be vertical and be a good blocker. Hey, man, let me know, because here's what I'm thinking. Put a 1 in the chat if you feel me. Put a 2 in the chat if I'm wrong. 1 in the chat if you think like this. How many times have you turned on the 4 o'clock game and you watch people running wide open? How many times have you turned that 4 o'clock game on and you say, how is that guy? That's an easy pitch and catch. I mean, I'm watching the 49ers last night, and they just walking up the field. George Kittle wide open. Brandon Ayuk, I see you. I'm gonna throw in this window. Oh, Debo, I'm gonna get you a quick little throw. Hey, listen, Chris McCaffrey, how you want it? How you want it, bro? He sound like Tupac and Jodeci. How do you want it? They getting him to rock here, over here, doing whatever they need to do in open field, and we got guys. We going 5 wide open, sitting 5, 6 yard sit down routes. It's crazy. How many times have you turned over to the 4 o'clock game, the Monday night game, the Thursday night game, and you say, where is that play for us? Why does our field look like everything we doing is having a knife fight, a butter knife fight inside of a phone booth to get yards? Let me know. Put a 2 if you say, G. Bush, we're running wide open. I see them everywhere. Let me know. Ray Smith, keep the faith. Kool-Aid is a little sour right now, devoid of all sugar, but we still have to drink. I feel you, man. I feel you. I feel you, dog. Ray, what's up, man? Kathy, he will now and let him run only when there's a hole. I think you're talking about Deshaun Watson right there. Let's see. Let me see. Let's get a couple more in here. Dan Badger, love the evasive approach about Watson's injury. I say hope for the best and plan for hope for the best, plan for the best. For me, I agree. I think this is I'm not knocking Kevin Stefanski. I think this year, but there was a response earlier. He said, bro, he'll be ready when he's ready to go. And that basically puts the timetable on how his body heals and when he's ready to be here. So we'll continue to look at after that, and I think that's he got himself in trouble by saying whether he should have played or what he was was he on the roster or the injury report, all that good stuff. We'll get to that. Let's get to this, man. We got a couple people's out here giving out memberships, so we shot them out early, man. Wow, man. Mr. 216, thank you so much for the membership. How often did midseason trades actually work out for the teams hoping to get some sort of impact player? I mean, I could think of T.O. in the middle of a season. There are some impact players. I think one of the impact guys is, what's the name? Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey came from the Panthers last year, and he made a really big impact. I think for the Browns, because it's an offensive lineman, we'll talk about the two names that I have in mind for the offensive line, but I think you can get that off. I think you can become a better team. I think you can at certain positions. Is you going to get that off at a quarterback? No, probably not. You're going to get that off at, impact positions, maybe like receiver. It's kind of a little more difficult because you got to have that chemistry with the quarterback. So I would say that the offensive line is something that you could do a lot better with in terms of that. Let's get to another membership. Nicole, shout out to Nicole D for becoming a YouTube member. We appreciate you. And make sure you continue to support us. But thank you so much for becoming a membership on the UCSS YouTube page. We got one more coming up here. And want to make sure that we get in that membership in here as well, and we got a little super chat as well. Jay Bossed Up. Appreciate you becoming a member. You guys, salute to y'all. You guys, make sure you continue to support that content over here. We appreciate each and every other member making UCSS the biggest platform on YouTube, bar none. How we get it down. DB Dog 21. Thank you so much for the super chat. We appreciate you. And Joku needs to study Kelsey on why was he always open even with a bum foot? Because they scheme guys so open. They do so many with different levels, different drag, different mesh concepts, different high-low concepts. They just do a good job in the running game and the passing game of always making you have a different look and making a choice of where you're going to take. If you want to take away Kelsey, we got another dude coming open behind him. If you want to take away that, we got some stuff that we're going to throw quick out there. So they do a good job of just making sure their players get the ball. And that's why sometimes I get a little upset, because I believe that you should be spot shadowing and really making a point to say, this is our playmaker, this is a person who we think should get the football, and running plays for him. I don't see that from the Browns receivers. I don't see that for Amari Cooper, who is by far their best receiver. And I still don't understand. Let me know, where is Cedric Tillman at? Why is Cedric Tillman on the milk box? Tell me, if you've seen where in the world Carmen Sandiego, where in the world is Cedric Tillman, bro? Good gracious, man. When we get back, we'll talk about the ways I think the Browns need to play in order to beat the 49ers. And we'll talk about some of the stuff that I'm a little concerned about with the play calling with Kevin Stefanski if they want to beat the 49ers. You're listening to The Barbershop here on the UCS YouTube channel. We want to say thank you guys for supporting us. And if you're watching this, you're watching some different content. It's the Barbershop, more different style. You know, we're on the panel at UCSS. And so we give you a variety of shows. But make sure you check out Behind the Glass. Our producers, Anthony McNuggets and Earl, do a great job over there. Some of the stuff that we can't get to during the regular day, they take those topics, expound on them, put some graphics to them, and really have some good conversations over there. Behind the Glass has been going usually on Wednesday. So they're usually at Wednesday, 7 or 8 o'clock. Check those guys out live on the UCSS YouTube channel. So we just keep lining up this content for you guys with a different set, we're trying to attract a different set of eyeballs, giving everybody a different perspective. So shout out to those guys. Make sure you support Behind the Glass and continue to support every and all content on the YouTube channel as well. All right, let's get back into it. I do believe that when you look at the situation, of how the Browns need to go about beating the San Francisco 49ers. The 49ers, of course, they present multiple challenges for the Browns. The one challenge that they're going to present is, we just kind of mentioned it a little bit offensively. They have so many weapons that they can hit you with. I think Brandon Ayuk is a guy who would be a number one receiver for a lot of people. You got Deebo Samuel, who's more of a Swiss Army knife. He can run the football, throw a lot of screens to him, very difficult to touch, brings that fire and intensity. George Kittle is a guy that can run down your field, but also George Kittle is one of the best run blockers and pass blockers in the league. Up front, they're solid. Trent Williams, the best left tackle in the game. And last but not least, you got the, Christian McCaffrey, who can, is the most versatile two-way back in the game. And then you got Brock Purdy, who we just keep waiting for him to fall off. He just doesn't do it. Just doesn't do it. And I think that's because Kyle Shanahan does a good job of mixing it up. He doesn't have the strongest arm in the world, but he can anticipate throws the ball. He has nice touch on it. He's not going to throw the ball through a wall. However, they run the ball so well, they do other things so well that you don't necessarily need that. Then you flip it on the other side of the football. We talked about it. Their linebackers probably run just as well, or if not even better than our linebackers run. You look at it up front. The defending defensive player of the year in Nick Bosa, Ward in that secondary. So they play a very physical style. I watched them go out there and beat the brakes off the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, it was bad. I'm like, man, these Jews is out here putting that work in. So, and I'm not just sitting here to pat the 49ers on the back like they can't be beat. What I'm saying is they present a lot of different challenges. And one of the challenges I think that most importantly is really going to, will prove how Kevin Stefanski in this game plan go forward is the way they used to choose to attack this defense. Kevin Stefanski has never committed to the run. He's never quite all the way committed to the run. Even when his best plays and his best players were up front, when you go back to that 2020 season. And I always ask this question. If Kevin Stefanski was coaching that game against the Pittsburgh Steelers, how would that have changed the outcome? Now, some people think that it's disingenuous, and it's also, it's also kind of you're playing like a little game with his legacy, because you're saying that he didn't really win that game. He didn't really go into Pittsburgh and win that game. Take a look at it. They had about 5-6 turnovers. Big Ben had turnovers. When somebody spots you a snap and you go out the back of the end zone, that's a big turn in the game. However, when you look at some of those plays, Jarvis Landry made some nice plays. The screen game was there. You look at the way Nick Chubb was able to score on the screen. And I look at the way that those games were called and how differently the Cleveland Browns continue to play today. I went back and checked out the film. And one of the things that the Cleveland Browns were able to do back in 2020 when they did make the playoffs is they were a team that were able to get big plays with Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb on screen passes. They also did not have on their major runs, they didn't have the level of penalties that they had. Now you just look up and you think about it like, oh my goodness, what's going on here? Every time you look up and they get a nice play, 7, 8, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 yards, it's coming back. And that is because the offensive line, to me, has regressed a lot. And it's not like they're playing horrible all at once. It's just a guy here, a guy here, a guy here, a guy here. But the guy that hurts you the most is Jed Wills. And what I want to do is I want to set this up in a different way. Sometimes when you talk about individuals and why they aren't doing what they need to do and why they won't be successful, sometimes people can think you're bullying somebody and just harping on somebody and just picking on somebody. I'm going to put it in this context and say that the way that they need to beat the San Francisco 49ers is to basically play like the 49ers and shorten the game. They need to basically play like the 49ers and shorten the game. And in order to play like the 49ers, you have to be creative in your run game. Just getting guys like Jed Wills and lining up with 2 tight ends, you're not giving those guys an opportunity because the defense is too smart. The defense understands, like, Jed Wills is not good enough to line up Imano on a defensive end and kick him out or reach him or double team him to the next level. He's just not that good. So when you come out in those formations, they aren't scared by anything because now they're saying, okay, we can keep everything in front of us. And the Browns move away from them runs so easily that now it's either all or nothing. It's either we're going to run the ball under center with 2 tight ends and we'll run boot off of it and see what happens, which is nothing because they're not biting on that. Or we're going to get in 5 wide and we're going to have sit-down routes and high-low concepts over the middle of the field, which they're not worried about either. So what they need to do is they need to I look at it in terms of this. Maybe we don't do all the outside zone stuff because to run outside zone, you need running backs with vision. You need running backs with good feet. You need running backs with cut back ability. I don't even know if that's a word. And there are times where I do look like I like Jerome Ford, but there are just too many times where his eyes is not on where his landmark should be at. There are times when there's a cutback lane, he doesn't see it. There's times when he should put his foot in the ground, get north and south, he doesn't do it. It's almost like he's trying to chase that home run. And the thing that we've been watching and why you are getting those holding penalties is because offensive line is used to Nick Chubb making them look right or making them right. If somebody's they're reading color in the hole, Nick is bouncing that back immediately. And he's always seeming to get 4 or 5 yards. So one of the reasons why I don't like the East and West stuff is if you are outnumbered, if you are outflanked, if you're out athletic, they got more athletes than you do. What's going to happen? The first thing you're going to do is pull, hold, tug. That's not what we should be running and working off the concept of inside zone where we got double teams up front, move to the next level. And there's another thing too. If you're going to run inside zone, you have to calm your brakes on getting to the next level. First things first. You never leave a defensive tackle. You never leave a nose tackle to get to a linebacker or to get to a safety. First level first. And I've been seeing a lot of that within the first 4 games. They have a good double team or a good reach or a good punch. And now I'm trying to slide and cut them off. And instead of continuing with that blocks, they're so eager to get to the next level to get a finish block when you're not finishing your breakfast up front. Finish your meal. Finish your plate up there. That's some of the things that I've been watching. And to do some of these things, Kevin Stefanski is going to have to get creative. The tendencies when you're charting it, the run game out of shotgun is almost non-existent. There's no draws. There's no inside zones. All they're running out of shotgun is the outside zone play going east and west. And Elijah Moore is not a running back. Stop running him under these plays. He's not a running back. Continue to give those guys those plays. I like to see more Strong. Where's Strong at? I like to see more of him. Kareem Hunt missed a lot of cuts I saw in the last game. So they got some work. But I think what you can do is if you can run the ball, shorten the game, make it a defensive game, but also give you some easier reads and be more physical and don't let those defensive ends just start coming upfield because you're in 5 wide. Keep it easy, and just because they stop you a few times, you got to keep it going. 500 people already in here. Make sure you continue to hit that like button. We appreciate you guys. Let you guys know. Coming up, I'll let you know 2 tackles that I think can really help out the Cleveland Browns. We'll get to those here in a moment. But first, let's get some of these comments. Can we get some simple slant routes, out routes, curls, wide receiver screens, running back screens. Every pass takes so long to develop with the weaker O-line. Ball needs to come out fast, and that's on Kevin Stefanski and the quarterbacks. I couldn't agree more. Could not agree more. I think the ball needs to come out. There's a lot, especially if GTR is playing. There's a lot of concepts that take a high level of mental capacity to diagnose information quickly. What are they in? What coverage are they in? What is my receiver running? 1, 2, 3, progression, boom, throw the ball, and don't get sacked. That takes a lot of training and a high level of just being able to do those type of things. And I don't think you do yourself any favor if you continue to have your quarterbacks taking those reads. Hey, G. Bush, hey, is this a story about the teammates being upset with Watson for not playing on the Ravens, or is that hype? That's a good question. Let me tell you this. More than anything, and I thank you so much for the question, because let's see if I could put some I don't know, closure or clarity on it. See, there's a difference between the player being frustrated, and there's a difference between somebody being mad at you. If you're a player and you Joe Bitonio and you Myles Garrett and you a bunch of these other guys, are you going to be upset or disappointed that Deshaun Watson couldn't play in the Ravens game because you want to put two of them things together? Sure. But no player is going to tell another player, hey, I'm mad at you because we thought you was playing, you said you was playing, and now all of a sudden you can't play. Listen, players do some of the craziest things in the world, and it's just in college. Everybody wants to play. Everybody do. There's no player out there that's out here trying to, the setup move to say that Deshaun is trying to cash checks. He was rich before that. He had $100 million before that. When you out here, you never know when your career is over. Nobody plans for it. Nick Chubb didn't. That's why it's crazy when people talk about save Nick Chubb's his carries. No, you don't save nothing. You go out there and play as hard as and long as you can, because it's not if you get hurt, it's just when you get hurt. So Joe Bitonio and some of those older veterans, yeah, they're disappointed. You know why? Because they understand that Deshaun Watson is the key to them winning games. Are they going to be able to go out there and play and beat the Ravens or the 49ers or the Dolphins without their starting quarterback? No. So they kind of salty. But they're not salty at him like he left them hanging or out there to dry. That's not what the situation is. Sometimes people they got to realize that. You know what I'm saying? Like, people don't want DTR to have to be out there playing because DTR don't give you, he's a rookie. He can't beat them teams. And we all know that. So my thing is, it'd be a lot of stuff made out of nothing. And to be honest, man, just always realize this, man. There's always going to be so many people that's not going to give Deshaun Watson a benefit of the doubt. Let's just be clear. There's a lot of people that just don't like Deshaun Watson. Whether it be that they don't like the fact of how much money he got, whether it's the allegations, whether it's he doesn't have a good relationship with the media, whether it's like, hey, he hasn't really been Deshaun Watson, which is kind of crazy to me. They have 9 games to do it. Always remember, when people's talking about what they don't like with Watson, there's always a little twinge of you already biased about it. And there's a lot of people that like Baker Mayfield, to be truthful, in this city. Thought he got a raw deal. Would love to have Baker today. I had colleagues that wear Baker Mayfield's 6 jerseys when he played for the Panthers. So when it comes to a Watson story, what y'all got to start doing is taking it for a grain of salt. As long as, listen, at the end of the day, we want to see him play because he gives the Browns the best chance to win. But there's also people that gotta pull their weight too. Andrew Berry can't be running around here giving these tackles all this free money. Jack Conklin and Jed Wills, like, just because. Nas said this about Jay-Z. Just because you don't understand and don't mean anything nice. Like, just because you don't quite understand what offensive linemen do, don't mean that all of them is good. All right, so let's get this going. We got a couple more we'll get to on the way back. But first, let's get back. And I got to tell you about this. Got to tell you about, bam. Let's get to the shirts we give away. The cool thing about the barbershop, 542 people in here right now. Thank you guys. Hit the like button for me. It does so much for the content getting out there, right? Sometimes we ask for membership. Sometimes we ask for, participation and support or super chats or whatever. You know what the easiest thing y'all can do is just support and hit that like button, bro. Because that means that people, and comment below too. Comment below, because that gives YouTube an opportunity to say, hey man, they love G Bush's content. Let's show this to other Browns fans out there. And that's the biggest thing that you can do to help the channel grow. So, and with that, I'm always into giving back. I believe, like in the city, I believe that when it comes to content, like coming up with unique content on YouTube, whether it's my radio show, whether it's UCSS, whether it's me selling different things and merchandise, I believe that I'm one of the biggest dudes in the game that is always trying to find a different way to engage with my audience. And this has been a really cool way to do so. So we give out 2 shirts a week. And tomorrow, on Thursday, what I'll do is I'll give you the code word. You email me at gbush91 with the code word in the subject line, and then we pick 2 people at random to get these shirts. So we've given away 10 Kool-Aid Mafia shirts completely free, and we've done that for Jamison Meyer from Bowling Green, Derek Downtown Dansby, Cincinnati, Ohio, Andrea Russo, Carrollton, Texas, Emma Lewis, Moorhead, Kentucky, Brianna Zimmerman from Amherst, Ohio, Mark Mantia from Gardner, Kansas, Matt Cantor from Frisco, Texas, Tanisha Salters, Barb Weiss, and Zane Longer from Mentor, Ohio. We'll have 2 new members of the Kool-Aid Mafia. All you got to do is on Thursday, once again, I'm going to give you out the code word. You put the code word into the subject line, email me, and we pick 2 guys at random. So, and if you do want to get barbershop merchandise, we got tumblers, we got mugs, we got coffee cups, all that cool stuff. You can purchase that at www.bushlinebeauty.com/barbershop. All the information will be in the description, and it will be in the comment section as well. So thank you guys for supporting the barbershop and continuing to make the barbershop the hottest show in all the streets. There's a couple of guys who I think can really help us out here. A couple of guys who I really think can help the Cleveland Browns. And they're 2 left tackles. The Patriots, Trent Brown, and the Broncos, Garrett Bush. So let me pull up a little bit of information on both of them. Wish I had a graphic on it, but I got a little home a little later. So I didn't have really time to put this graphic in, but I'll just read it out. Whoa. Let me see. So this is from the Browns Wire. And it talks a little bit about some of the teams that can make some stuff, some trade deadline stuff. So it says the Broncos are fielding calls for Clark, who was reported by NFL's Ian Rappaport, who noted that Clark, and this is about Frank Clark. This is about edge rusher Frank Clark, is one of the guys who is on the Broncos. The Broncos have been sliding a little bit. Teams are looking to see if they're trying to do a fire sale. They said Ian Rappaport, who noted that Clark was only cost the new team about $1.21 million because Denver has already paid him $4.2 million of his signing bonus. So he's one of the guys. Frank Clark is out there as well as an edge rusher. Garrett Bush, who's 31, is under contract through 2024. He has about $17.8 million cap hit this season and a $20 million cap hit next year. Now, here's the thing about Garrett Bush. He's a little bit older than Jet Wills. He's 31 right now. He'll have you a cap hit of $17 million and another cap hit of $20 million. But I think when you look at Jet Will's 5th-year pickup, that's about $20 million, just to be clear, right there. Bowles has made an all-pro team. I feel he's an upgrade from Jedrick Wills. I think he's an upgrade as a pass blocker and as a run blocker. The only issue that you have here is he's a little older. He's going to cost you some money. But like I said before, why am I worried about paying money when if I don't make the playoffs, I'm out here anyway? I think that's a lot of what people don't understand is you in a now game. And if you look at Andrew Berry, you look at Kevin Stefanski, if you don't make the playoffs, we in reset mode. And I don't know about a lot of people. I'm not trying to go through no reset mode, man. I'm just very tired of resetting and doing this when I could look around the league and ask yourself a question. Ask yourself this. Why is it always we got to wait? Why is it always we got to be fiscally responsible? We was fiscally responsible when we had Cody Kessler as a quarterback, when we was running out RG3, and we was running out McCown. My thing is, I remember how bad them Sundays when you go into those games knowing good and well you don't have a chance to win them football games. So, yeah, is it going to cost you some money? Sure. Could it cost you some draft capital? Sure. But I'm looking at your draft capital you done accumulated. Hey, if you want a 3rd-round pick, what 3rd-round pick he done hit on? Is David Bell worth a reset button for? Because that's what's going to happen if you don't make the playoffs. Anthony Schwartz, David Bells of the world, these guys ain't hit on nothing. Jordan Elliott, Tommy Togiai, come on, man. So, yeah, I'm willing to keep it going. Yeah, I'm willing to push it to the limit. We already there. We already there. And people think because, Nick Chubb got hurt, we could pull back and try to no. That's one of the consequences of thinking, well, we don't got enough footballs to go around. We don't got this. Jerry Jeudy, he ain't even that. We got DPJ. Bro, DPJ been on a milk box. I don't even know where he been at. I mean, Elijah Moore. I mean, they just. So, yeah, sorry. Yeah, find me a tackle. Find me a tackle. And the guy that I really want, let's get to Trent Brown. Let's get to Trent Brown. Got here. Let's get to Trent Brown. So, Brown signed a 2-year, $11.5 million contract with the Patriots before 2022 season, and plus another 4.5 in available incentives. He will make $4 million base salary this season. Still scheduled to become a free agent in March. So one of the things that people may be a little unnerved about is the fact that he is going to be a free agent. So if you went ahead and got him, or you went ahead to go out and get him, you would probably, if you wanted to keep him, you'd have to give him another contract at the end of the year, or bring him back as a free agent, right? Let's see what he's looking at. Let's see. So he'll still get some accolades here. Let's see. Yep, 1 year, $11 million. Statistics. What do you do? Let's see. Look at his grade. He's been in the league since 2015. 9th year as a pro. He is 30 years old. 8 years as a pro. He's been here with the Patriots for 8 years. Made a all-pro team, and as recent as 2022, he has played in all 16 games. Had some injuries in 2021 and 2020. So he's a guy that has all pro capabilities. I think he's a great upgrade to Jet Wills. And I think if you wanted to make a move to say, okay, we gotta go ahead and sign him long term, I think it's something that you may look at. But the alternative to me is, and you let me know in the comment section, do you want these guys? What are your thoughts on Garrett Bowles? What are your thoughts on Trent Brown? And what are you willing to give up for those guys? Because I'm gonna tell you what, right now, as constituted, the Cleveland Browns won't be beating very many good teams, especially at left tackle. It's just too much of a turnstile out there. It's gonna be rough. Let's get to a super chat right here. Let me get back to this. Let's see. Let's get to this. All right, let's get to some of your chat questions and answers. You could definitely cut to the front of the line with a super chat, and we'll definitely get to the super chat right now from Joseph Lampman. He says, who do you think Miles does if Stefanski flops? Oh, listen, if they don't make the playoffs, Myles Garrett's not playing. He won't be here. He'll ask for a trade, and he'll probably get traded for probably one of the best hauls that they can get. They may get 2 1s for Myles Garrett. I wouldn't do anything. I would push for 2 number 1s, or so at the least, you're talking about a 1, a 2, and a 3, or somewhere like that if you ain't got 2 1s. But the Browns have to make the playoffs. Also, if the Browns don't make the playoffs, that probably signals the end of Nick Chubb being here, given his injury, and given the fact that there'll be another coach coming in. And I would assume that Joe Bitonio and Wyatt Teller may be casualties as well in terms of some of the cut casualties. And they may look for a deal for Denzel Ward, who's making over $100 million. Let's see what we got here. G. Bush, all the tweet reports, interviews about Deshaun Watson is leading toward he's not playing. I'm nervous. Well, listen, this is why y'all should watch the show. I think the reason why this is a PSA for why you should watch the barbershop. In the industry, I feel, and this is just not me just saying that. There's been times where people have said stuff all along. I'm like the candy, now or later. You're going to either believe me now or believe me later. If you look at my track record about a lot of different stuff, I've been spot on when it comes to certain things, man. Like, I've been spot on. Like, the whole DeJuan Jones thing, people, you a Kool-Aid drinker, DeJuan Jones, he ain't go play. They're going to redshirt him. We got maturity issues. Oh, Jack Conklin, Jack Conklin was good last year. Give him a chance. I'm like, man, listen, Jack Conklin is very injury prone. He's had a lot of injuries. He plays upright. I don't know, but why would you give him? And then look what happens. DeJuan Jones, people talk about he never played. He was. The reason you should listen to this because I don't have no what's the name. I'm not trying to gaslight nobody. I put the research in. Like, a lot of people not going to say that. Like, to me, if you're not breaking down no film, you just going off what you like. Like, you going off your emotions. But, I didn't already, I respect people that's going to put the work in, do the analysis, and at some point in time, put it based on what you're seeing and how you can break that down. Everybody got an opinion. And when I talked about Deshaun Watson, I talked about it based on, now, granted, I don't have no shoulder injuries. When I'm talking about it from a person who's had a lot of extensive surgeries and spent most of my career with trainers rather than coaches, because I was always hurt. That shoulder injury, man, that's not something you could just come in and just wipe off and keep it pushing, given the fact that you got an offensive line that been getting them hit anyway. Come on, man, you got to be smart about that. And I called that, go back and watch my episode about a week and a half ago. I said, listen, this is going to be a rough one for Deshaun Watson. It's going to be a rough one. What's up, Karen? You support on everywhere. Karen is one of the biggest supporters in the world, man. You support. I appreciate you so much for taking time to support me on any platform. Hey, G, we've done nothing with our draft picks. So why not trade a second or third round pick for good tackle? Because Jed Wills will get Deshaun Watson killed. Go Browns. Hey, Karen, you right where you're right where you're supposed to be with that. That thinking is winning thinking. Everybody has this thing about exponential growth or exponential upside, right? We've all been with them people. Have you seen a pyramid scheme? Hey, how many of you been approached by Amway? What is it? Mary Kay, not Mary Kay Cabot, but the company. Everybody has seen a pyramid scheme where they amp you up and talk about how much unlimited earning potential. You can listen. Yeah, it's a lot of things that's unlimited. Like when somebody tells you can earn unlimited, walk away, because you can get unlimited money. But how many people? What's the small print? How many people you got to sign up below you in order to get you a bag? See, sometimes the guarantee bag, the best bag you're gonna get is listen. Give me what's my hourly rate, and when I'm done after these 2 weeks, give me my check so I can go home. But you can make unlimited dollars. I can have an unlimited downside too. I could make $2 million. I can make zero. My bills don't care nothing about unlimited upside. They care about they come due every 2 weeks. It's a little disclaimer for you guys coming out of college that everybody want you to sell life insurance, want you to sell coupon books. They always got somebody you ready to go. It's just like that with the draft. We got a number one pick. We could get a franchise quarterback or the next Emmitt Smith, or we could get the next Jerry Wright. Listen, but your downside is you can get Cam Irving. The downside is you got Barkevius Mingo. The downside you got Brandon Wheaton. The downside is you got Trent Richardson. See, it is just not the pick. You got to actually execute on the pick. And guess what? At some point in time, you could be pick and financially, fiscally responsible, but who cares about being financially responsible for the guy that's coming to take my spot? Oh my goodness. Like if you're a rich Uber driver, you can make unlimited money to be an Uber driver too, but you got to put a lot of work in. How many hours in a day you willing to do that? Jeffrey Shardy says the Browns should get a head coach that matches the team's talents and personality. No one cares about the future. They need to do something now. I could not agree more. 504 people here the whole entire time. I want to say thank you to you guys as well. Let me make sure we get one more this super chat in here. Nicole D, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate you as well. Kevin's a developmental coach. He may be good coaching someday, but we can't afford to wait around for that. I think he may be a good coordinator, but there's some things that he leaves to be desired. And I think one of the things that we got to look at is can he beat a guy like Mike Shanahan and going head to head? Excuse me, Mike Shanahan, Kyle Shanahan. I'm dating myself a little bit. Let's get one more in here. One more super chat. We appreciate you guys, man. Todd Stein, do you think Watson will ride out his contract and never play much? No, I think he really does want to play. I just think he got the worst case scenario. You lose your running back, that's going to take pressure off you. The offensive line seems to get a little bit old right in front of your face. He played his best football game against the Tennessee Titans, and I think he expected Fully to come back and follow that up against the Ravens. It's just that he has a shoulder injury. And one thing that I think about is sometimes when you got nerve injuries, nerves don't care nothing about what you're talking about. It don't matter how much you try, getting feeling back in that arm, getting a stinger, feeling. Remember, Greedy Williams had his career almost snatched and ended here in Cleveland because his feeling never came back in his arm after the stinger. So, that's the sick feeling I get because I understand how nerve damage could be. And I can understand how, what it's going to look like if this man don't play against the 49ers come Sunday. With that being said, I want to thank everybody for pulling up on me. Make sure you follow this up. We're going to be back on Thursday Same place, same time, 3 to 4 p.m. And we'll do a deep dive into 49ers versus the good old Cleveland Browns from Cleveland Browns Stadium. We'll talk about that and we'll get into the matchups, all of that. Hopefully we know more about Deshaun Watson by then. But until then, make sure you go out and check out the UCSS. We'll be back with the UCSS tomorrow from, same place, same time, 11 to 1. And I will be filling in for Ken Carman in the morning show. So check me out on 92.3 The Fan. On the Odyssey app. I'll be filling in for King Carmen tomorrow in the morning show. So if you're in the city, make sure you check that out, and we'll be there at 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. right here in the good old city of Cleveland. With that being said, you never know when your boy G. Bush might show up. They say, where you be at, dog? I don't know where you be at. You know what you can do? Listen to the Clippers. Peace.